Hi there, this is Bobby from Ragged Poet, and this is a video response to Kelly from the Truth in Stories walkthrough of the Deviant Moon Tarot deck. If any of you watch my channel, you will know that I love this deck, and it loves me. And so I had to respond. Kelly did a really great video, and I want to say, Kelly, that you mentioned a few times that people were going to be upset and disappointed that you didn't get on with the deck and it didn't gel with you, but I wasn't at all disappointed. I was like really happy that you went through it and reviewed it, even though you had misgivings from the start. You kind of must know your own mind, because you never were really attracted to the deck in the first place. So I think you did a great job and you were very fair, and a secret bit of me thinks you actually like it really deep down. Some of those images grabbed you. I know they did. Anyway, Kelly's approach was comparing it to the Rider-Waite traditional meanings, which we all do this. I mean, I did it with my Raven's Prophecy the other day, and it's a good basis to judge a deck for the first time. But I don't actually do that. I don't read the books. I look at the deck, go through the deck, maybe keep it by me, look through it a few times and see what happens and see what comes out of me. The Deviant Moon deck literally jumped out of the box and clambered all over me. It's never happened with another deck before. I can't describe how it affected me. And I said in a previous video, it's like a set of keys to my subconscious. Patrick Valenza, who created this deck, created it over 35 years. He started the first images when he was a young teenager. And I don't know if you know anything about icon painting, but icons were meditative paintings, and they were done by sometimes monks or artists, but they were a meditation. You didn't just develop them overnight or make them overnight. They were developed in this really slow meditative manner, and you were actually contacting with the, your spiritual and your subconscious side. So when people look at icons, through those they can kind of hopefully contact with their spiritual or subconscious higher self. And this is how I see this deck. To me, it's a series of icons. They're doorways into my subconscious. So I've never looked at it in a Rider-Waite way. I've only looked at it ever in this Deviant Moon way, and it fits me perfectly. It just, I don't know, I love this deck. So I'm going to address a few of the cards that Kelly mentioned in her video. I should have took notes, but I didn't. So we're just going to go straight for it. So I think she mentioned something about the magician not being beginning or practicing or something, or not actually being accomplished. Well, I like this magician better than the one in the Rider-Waite Smith, because he's doing stuff, he's interacting, he's not stagnant. The one in the Rider-Waite Smith has got all the things around him, but they're stagnant. Whereas this guy, he's waving the sword, he's got the wand, he's got extra arms if he needs them, he's got all this potential in hands if he needs it. He's dipping his fingers into the blood, he's got the shadows behind him, maybe some kind of shadow work thing. So I see him as actually interactive, doing stuff. He's a doing magician. He may have a way to go, but he's still moving, interacting. So when I see a card like this, it makes me think of all the things that I could be doing, all the potential I have. So that's how I see the magician. And the next card that I've got two decks here. This is my borderless deck, and this is my trimmed down original. Well, it's actually not my original deck. I've still got my original deck with the borders on. I couldn't bear to cut that one, but I traded another one, and this is my baby deck that I take around in my bag, and I blacked the edges of it, so I have two. My mini version and the big one, and it's so cute. So the next card that Kelly talked about was, I think, the Chariot. That she talked about them all, I think, but she picked up on a few and said that this didn't seem, it seemed very stagnant, I think, and a bit strange. Well, the Chariot represents Cancer. It's a Cancer sign of the zodiac, and we know that Cancer's a crab. So to me, being a Cancerian, the hard shell makes a lot of sense. The fact that he's kind of looking sideways makes a lot of sense because crabs walk sideways. And I see this guy as he's coming from all the industry and moving away from it. It's like he's been through that stage of his life, that stage of building or being built, being hammered in the forge. His armour's quite battered looking and rusty in places. And it's like he's been forged into the strength he has now. And he's very kind of resourceful and determined. And he knows where he's going. He's got these two wheels, and there might be one on the other side, we don't know, but it's kind of like he knows where he's going now. He's got that wheel leading. And he's kind of all head because everything is controlled by his mind, and he's like self-propelled. He doesn't need horses or stone sphinxes, whatever they've got in the right of way. He's completely self-propelled, completely determined. He just knows what he's doing. So he's kind of graduated from this creation and forge of the city and moving out into his next adventure. But he's in control. He's perfectly in control. So that's how I see the Chariot. Oh, and then we have Kelly's favourite card. Ha ha ha. The Hermit. Okie dokie. Again, it doesn't relate really to the Rider-Waite-Smith Hermit. And yet it does in a way. To me, this card is the classic card that would represent the empath. This Hermit represents how I feel on a often daily basis. You know, when you want to run away and stick your head under the covers and not come out, well, this is that card. It's when you need to be alone and when you need that solitude, and then you need to just connect with yourself. And it's sometimes hard in today's life. I mean, back in the traditional hermit days, when there were real hermits and they lived in monasteries and things, it was a lot easier to get away from society. It's not that easy to do that now. So this is a kind of modern interpretation, if you like, of possibly the Rider-Waite Hermit, although it is kind of different meaning for me. But you know, it's really, really hard to get away from the city. You have to go a long way in the country to see the stars in the sky at night. That kind of feeling. This is the feeling I get from this card. And the other thing is the fish, for me, was pretty significant. The fish symbolises wisdom, and because of its element of water, deep wisdom and knowledge. And I think the fish is kind of dying. It's like a fish out of water, and the hermit has been like a fish out of water in the city, and he needs to reconnect with himself, and he's got this fish to try and remind him, I think, of the deep inner wisdom that's inside him. And fish are also signs of transformation. Well, they are to me anyway. The Pisces sign is 2 fish, and I think I read somewhere that it comes from Aphrodite and Eros, who they transformed into fish to escape the god Typhon. There is, for me, there's symbolism in that fish. But that's my take on the Hermit. It's exactly how I feel when I need to get away. Okay, so that's the Hermit. My view on the Hermit. I don't want this to be a long video because it's fast getting dark. I hope the light's okay. Next we have the Strength card. Like Kelly, I don't like the traditional Strength card. I hate the Lion and the Woman cards. I just don't like them. They remind me of the big game hunters and poor old Cecil the Lion and those evil people who hunt them. I just don't like that card. I don't think it has anything to do with what Strength's about. But this card I like, because this isn't a creature I know. This is a demon. And because this is about, for me, a dream kind of subconscious deck. This demon, this guy is looking straight into the mouth, if you like, of his fear, of his darkness, and facing it head on. and, you know, attempting to conquer it. You know, this is the guy saying, look, okay, this is the voice in my head. I'm going to deal with this voice. I'm going to get to it straight away and sort it out. So this is what this means to me: the strength to overcome the negative side, negative thoughts, and the bad side of your subconscious. And it's always meant that to me, that card. It means overcoming, like, the demon within, the negative voice, the naysayer in you. So that's strength for me. Then I think Kelly briefly mentioned the star. I'll just say how I felt the star works for New Hope. I like the fact that you've got the New Hope with all the stars above, but you've got, see, she's sitting on this parched kind of ground here, and it's like the star brings hope and new life and inspiration because she's watering it, and she's pouring all this water onto the ground so things can grow again. So to me, this is a sign of new hope, maybe after bad luck or after being in the desert. So there we go, that's the star. And now the moon. Okay. The puppeteer. Well, these lines are like, to me, they're just like little energy, not so much string, but energy like lines. And the energy of the moon does control us. All human beings, being mostly water, can't help but be controlled by the moon. If the oceans are controlled by the moon, then why can't we be controlled by the moon? This changes our behaviour. This gravitation, the pulling of these strings is going to change our behaviour, and it's going to show us the light of the moon and the strength of the moon shows us sides of our subconscious that we don't usually access because it affects the emotions and the subconscious more than the actual conscious mind. But it's very highly effective on mood. So I see this moon as it is a puppeteer in a way, because it's coming over into your dreams, and the lunar energy always changes our perception of reality. But the other thing about this moon card is it reminds me of that song American Pie by Don McLean, and there's a little bit in it when it goes, and the jester sang to the king and queen in a coat he borrowed from James Dean. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. Forgive my singing, but... So we've got the king and the queen, and the moon's like the jester. The moon's a player. And they're dancing to his tune. So that's the moon. And when the moon card comes up for me, I have to beware of lunar energy and lunacy, because it can overtake you and you can see slightly different and altered realities. You don't need no acid, man. Okay, now the Seven of Cups, I seem to remember from... I pulled these cards out as I was watching the video, so... The Seven of Cups. Now, Kelly did mention something about this, that she didn't quite see it, or something. Now, I see this card. A lot of the characters in this deck have got the two faces. So the dark one I see as the subconscious mind, and the light one as the conscious mind. So this is the dream world. And in this card, you've got the subconscious, the conscious mind looking at the cups, the real cups. And then you've got the subconscious drawing his own version of what these cups are. So it kind of is a little bit like that traditional RWS Seven of Cups with the different things in each cup, and it's about illusion and things. To me, this card is about looking at the both sides of the story and looking outside the box and really looking inside you to see what your perception is of these things. And then possibly there's a balance here of illusion and reality. There's a kind of tension between the two faces. But that's how I see it. Conscious looking at reality, subconscious painting what he sees, how he perceives these to be. So if this card comes up, I think about how am I looking at things, what am I looking at, what am I seeing, and how real is what I'm seeing, and how much of it is in my head, kind of thing. Well, that's the Seven of Cups. And I've got the Judgment card here, and I bought this one because Kelly mentioned this angel figure, and when I very first got the deck, it jumped out to me. Years ago I spent some time in Wales, as I'm from Britain. I love old graveyards, so I spent a lot of time walking around old Celtic graveyards, and I've got a book here. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this because it's a very dark picture, but I found this image. Anyway, basically it's a head and it's got these wings around it. So you've got the little cherub head here. It's very old. The gravestone's pretty old, so it's chipped away. But you've got the wings and the head, and that's what that Judgment Angel in the Deviant Moon reminds me of. So I hope you could see that. And there we are. That's my video response to Kelly. So yeah, make your own mind up. If you can get your hands on a copy and look at it and not refer to that Rider-Waite thing, then, you know, do. If you're attracted to the art, I think the deck will work for you. I'm going to leave you there before it gets really dark, and hopefully you'll be able to see that Judgment Angel. And thank you again, Kelly, for that awesome video. And I still love you. Okay, bye-bye.